Hello student, today I will explain you distributed DBMS architecture. This is also a very important topic. As we all know that distributed DBMS architecture is divided into three parts: client server system, number two peer-to-peer distributed system, and the third one is multi-database system. So today I will explain you the first one only, that is client server system. This is most important and mostly widely used distributed system architecture. As we all know that we generally use this type of distributed architecture. This provide a two-level architecture which make it easier to manage the complexity of modern DBMS and the complexity of the distributions. Client server computing and client server DBMS, as it is used in its more modern context, do not refer to processes but to actual machine. Thus, we focus on what software should run on the client machine and what software should run on the server machine. Here, the first thing to note is that the server does most of the data management work. This means that all the query processing and optimization, transaction management and storage management is done at server. Similarly, the client, in addition to the application and the user interface, has a DBMS client module that is responsible for managing the data that is cached to the client and managing the transaction log that have been cached as well. So in client server architecture, we see that the workload basically on server side. In this case, there is an operating system and communication software that run on both the client and the server. But we only focus on the DBMS related functionality. This architecture, which is given in this following figure, is quite common in relational system where the communication between the client and server is at levels of SQL statement. In other words, the client passes SQL queries to the server without trying to understand and optimize them. The server does most of the work and return the result related to the client. From the figure you can see how we queries with SQL and the server, from the server side it gives the result. You can also see this is also the architecture of client server. Here client point of view, web browser, HTML and JavaScript, HTTP protocol, application server like Java, C++ and C hash, and database server like SQL, XML. Now here there are a number of different types of client server architecture. The simplest in case where there is only one server which is accessed by multiple client. You can see here single server, multiple client, multiple server, multiple client. So here we distinguish into parts. The simplest is the case where there is only one server which is accessed by multiple client. Basically, we use this. We call this multiple client single server. Now, a more sophisticated client server architecture is one where there are multiple server in the system, so called multiple client multiple server approach. In this case, two alternative management strategies are possible. Either each client manage its own connection to the appropriate server, or each client knows of only its home server, which is then communicate with other server as required. The former approach simplifies server code, but the load the client machine with additional responsibilities. This leads to what has been called heavy client system. So in multiple client single server, that is heavy client system. The latter approach, that means multiple client multiple server, on the other hand, concentrates the data management functionality at server. Thus, transparency of data access is provided at server interface, leading to light client. So we differentiate this single server and multiple server with heavy client and multiple with light client. Thank you for watching my video lecture. I hope you all understand what is client server architecture. Thank you.